All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another edition of They Call Us Villains. I got the big boss mailman as always. Brian, the Mavs won one game. Break it down for us.
It's too late. It's too late.
Too
It's
late?
it's
Yeah, it's too late.
it's too late. I mean, like I was telling one of our friends earlier, Jaime, if they would have won at least game 2 or game 3, the series would have been 2-2 going into
Yeah.
Boston. Now you're down what? Oh, whoop de doo! You won one. You're still down 3-1. It's little too late.
But they blew him out. Is that a sign, maybe? Or what do you think?
No, it's too
No.
late. It's too late. It's pretty much the the Timberwolves series all over again. Dallas and Timberwolves. I mean, the Timberwolves were the favorite, and Dallas took them out 4-1. What they do? Like I said, it's just too late.
What had you predicted, Brian? You predicted
I
a
predicted
four
Mavs in 6.
Mavs in six. Okay. What was the
Yeah,
difference? What was different about the series and then what you thought how it was gonna go?
honestly, like I said, I mean, the Western Conference's way was stacked. The Dallas went through tougher competition to get there. Um,
But
I
what
mean,
happened? What was the
at this
difference?
point, I'm assuming that Kyrie. I mean, it was a lot of it. Game 1, game 2 was Kyrie not 100%. Obviously, I mean, I'm not talking about health wise. I'm talking about not scoring enough points. Just that Boston crowd was in his head. They came
Mhm.
back to Dallas, and game 3 he looked a little bit better, but still wasn't enough. They lost in game 3. That's why he got down to 3-0 coming into tonight. And I mean, Luca can't do it all by himself. I mean, everybody else, Gafford, Lively, Washington, nobody stepped up. Nobody helped him out. Exum off the bench didn't help him out. Tim Hardaway Jr. come off the bench as well, didn't help him out. He didn't even play for most of the playoffs. So
Um,
it was kind of lopsided where it's like, okay, well, you got Kyrie and you got Luca. And they couldn't do it all by themselves, all the heavy lifting. And in Boston, too. Boston, I give them credit. I mean, like I said on game 1, defense wins championships. And besides the high scoring in that game 1, they played really solid defense. They've been playing solid defense throughout the whole series. So that's pretty much the key right there, because Luka is a horrible defender. So whoever he was picking up on, and most of the time it was Brown, and Brown was just taking him to school. So it's too little, too late. Yeah, they blew him out. Good on them. Somebody wants some money tonight. Some
no.
outlier saying, okay, yeah, Dallas is gonna at least win one game.
Yeah.
They won some money, whoop de doo, but this season's over. Yeah, it's
Were you
over.
surprised by Porzingis and how well he played in this series?
Yeah, I actually was surprised. He came into game 1 and just lights out from the 3-point line, lights out from just anywhere on the floor. Great defense. It's just, yeah, I mean,
Those
he
blocks.
set the momentum. He set the momentum for him. And so once he got injured in game 2, it was like, okay, well, now it's more of an even split. I mean, they were up. The Celtics were up 2-0. You come back to Dallas and he's out for game 3. It's like, okay, here we go. Dallas can win this game. And I was predicting them myself. Obviously, I was wrong. I said, man, they could win this one 2-1. And then if they would have obviously carried it into tonight, it would have been 2-2 affair. But yeah, it's too little, too late. Too little, too late.
Yeah.
I'm more focused now on the NBA offseason, and I want to see
Huh.
who the Lakers hire.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, obviously, I want to do the lateral move into Dan
Right.
Hurley. They
Right.
lowballed him,
Yeah.
and I
Before
think
you
he didn't want
make the
to leave
move.
either. His wife didn't want to leave. Like I said before in the prior podcast, his wife is pretty much his guiding light, and he's listening to his wife. There's stories about how once they got back from their trip here to LA to meet with Jeannie Buss and Palenka, she was not happy about it. She didn't want to leave. She pretty much told him, like, why are you even like considering leaving? Like, they're totally content in being in Connecticut, and they're beloved. They're well off. Obviously, they're from what I've heard is he's like the second highest paid person in Connecticut, and that's pretty nuts
Wow.
because from what I've heard, Connecticut's a pretty expensive state. So,
Yeah.
and he still has that leverage over the school to make more money too.
Mm.
So it's like he was already happy as it was. I think he got interested because he does want to coach someday in the NBA. but the Lakers itself is kind of a circus, and to lowball the man, it's like, wow, like just I mean, it's you don't even need the third strike. It's just like you struck out on 2 strikes and that's it, Genie.
Right.
You pretty much did.
And let's say rest in peace to the great Jerry West, who
Yes.
was a
Yes.
big
Thank you,
figure in the
Kamish.
Lakers.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. He's actually I was born 87, but I grew up with him, knowing him as the executive for the Lakers. I mean, because of him, he brought Kobe to the Lakers. He brought Shaq. He was just he brought other pieces like Van Exel before that. He brought Rick Fox from Boston. Rick Fox was drafted by the Celtics, and Jerry West was very big in bringing him to LA. He brought a lot of guys to LA, but the biggest ones were Shaq and Kobe. Me and you, obviously. I mean, I grew up watching Shaq and Kobe. He's always gonna be my favorite Laker. I put Kobe number 2. But it's Jerry West, even though I never got to see him play, but just who he was, and he brought so much joy to LA, to LA sports fans too. I mean, it's just even if you weren't a Laker fan and you lived in LA, he brought that joy. I mean, just those great teams. So yeah, he's my number 3 favorite Laker of all time, and it's just this whole thing with the Bus family. I mean, so Jerry didn't want to pay him, so that's how he ended up in Memphis. And then after that, he ended up in Golden State. And then there was a time period where Golden State was considering moving on from Klay Thompson, and Jerry West pretty much put his neck out on the line and said, "Hey, like if you get rid of Klay, consider me resigning. He's out, I'm out as well." And this was like the beginning of the Splash Brothers, mind you. So he built that dynasty up there in Golden State, which like I said, I hate Golden State, but I mean, it just goes to show how good of a executive and basketball savant. I mean, just a total basketball lifer he was.
Yeah.
And it's so sad to hear that the inside scoop was kind of how the word was he got pneumonia. They put in a pacemaker, and after that, it's a combination of old age, I'm assuming, and just I don't really have I don't want to get too deep into it, but. I mean, all in all, we lost a great.
Yeah, it was tough when he went to these other places and started having success.
Yes.
And we're like, that was our guy.
That was our guy.
Why did we lose him?
There was a point. I don't know if I talked to you guys about this before on prior podcasts, but there was a time where he was in Memphis after the falling out with the Bus family. And Kobe was not happy in LA, and he considered going to Memphis.
Wow.
Because Jerry was there.
I didn't know that.
And Jerry told him, "No, Kobe." He's like, "Stay in LA. Like LA is where you're going to continue to win." And soon after that, that's when they got Paul Gasol, and then it was Kobe and Paul.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hard to imagine Kobe not a Laker. That's crazy.
Imagining Kobe not being a Laker. Yeah. Yeah. At one point, he wanted to be a Clipper too. Wow. But the Clippers, the whole thing with Donald Sterling happened, and it goes into I guess I'm gonna lateral a little bit more too. The show on FX on Hulu, it's called Clipped. The whole Donald Sterling thing. He went on a racist rant with his side piece, and it's pretty good show. I mean, you have Ed O'Neill, aka Al Bundy, playing
he plays Sterling.
Donald Sterling. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you have Lawrence Fishburne playing Doc Rivers. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I never understood why he got in trouble over that, because they called him racist, but his girlfriend was black. I don't understand. Right?
Half black, half Mexican. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand why they thought he was racist. Why would he be dating a half black, half Mexican girl?
Well, the thing was she was at a Dodger game with a friend, and then they saw Magic Johnson, and they took a picture of Magic Johnson. That's kind of what led off this whole saga, and the rest is history now. I mean, obviously, he got banned for life.
That was just jealousy, I think, more than racism.
That was just jealousy, more than anything.
Jealous dude. Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, he was, from what the show portrays, I'm pretty sure, who knows what the truth is. And it's funny because I want to since we're on Jerry West, that Winning Time show on HBO. I couldn't take that serious. I don't know if you watched it.
Oh no, I didn't watch it.
So it got to the point where they portrayed Jerry West as like this,
Yeah.
like he had like an anger problem, like somebody who should have been like in anger management, and he was not that. Like everybody, like even like the captain, like Kareem, Kareem came out and he's like the way they're portraying Jerry West on this show is terrible. He came out and he like stepped up for Jerry, and it rattled Jerry West too. It was so sad. This was last year. This was sad because even Jerry West was like, man, like, what do I have to do to clear my name? Like, I think he was about to sue the creators of the show.
Jerry West was portrayed as having an anger problem.
Yeah. So that's why, like, and they got a lot of the facts incorrect. Obviously, they Hollywooded up way too much. Like,
yeah, from what I've heard, he was like a really nice guy, treated the fans really well.
Yes.
I always heard good stories about him. Like people who met him and
exactly.
met him at games, saw him at games. They always had great stuff.
I talked about that like in a podcast prior. I think it was last year, where I was talking about that Winning Time show, and I was just like, I can't take this serious. I mean, you're gonna portray Jerry West in this light. It's like, this is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah. I remember seeing the trailer for that Winning Time, and I was like, yeah, that looks kind of goofy. Like, what?
It's goofy. It's goofy. Yeah.
And especially when those documentaries are so good.
Total goof. And I'm kind of glad that now more than ever, like, I think that like it hasn't, because when it was first coming out, people were like really into it. Like, people were like checking it out. Obviously, it was getting views, and now it's kind of like disappeared. And now with the passing of the great Jerry West, I think it's you're just gonna put it in the vault and just let it see the light of day.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah. And
especially after seeing
sorry, Kamish, go ahead, real quick.
Especially after seeing like The Last Dance, or like documentaries, it's hard to watch these other shows.
Right. Yeah, but this was like a spoof, like you said. It's just it was Hollywood. It was like a docu-series, but not a docu-series in definition. It was like kind of a comedy. They try to make it a comedy, but it's like, okay, well, like, if you're gonna talk about the Showtime Lakers, at least like get it right.
Yeah,
get it right. But these guys, Hollywood, it just got too Hollywood. It got too muckety, and just too. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. I watched like 2 episodes. I was like, nah, I can't. I'm out. This is not good. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about that. So since we're on the topic of the Lakers and coaches and Jerry West, it's just like you put that all and you start mixing it, and who comes out? JJ Redick. So JJ Redick, a while back, he pretty much said that Jerry West's stats and numbers should not apply to the recent NBA because he played with plumbers and electricians. He straight up said that on a podcast. And so it was interesting because the day that Jerry passed, I'm a big Christopher Mad Dog Russo fan. And he pretty much talked about how for the broadcast before Game 3, they should not have JJ Redick say absolutely anything nice about Jerry West because it's like you pretty much made your bed and I got to sleep in it.
That makes sense.
And it's funny because I don't think it's funny, but I'm gonna make a kind of like a slight about it because I think he's actually perfect for the Lakers because she's what Jeannie Buss wants. I mean, she wasn't a fan of Jerry, so it's like, here you go, you got your coach. You know, it's all karma. It's karma because it's like you didn't land one of the great college coaches, and yes, he was a college coach, different transition, but now you got your guy. I mean, this guy's never even coached, and he thinks that Jerry West was this and this and that because he played in the 60s. Yeah. It's like he's perfect. He's perfect for Lakers right now. For Lakers right now.
That's a shame.
Because you're gonna have LeBron. LeBron's he's not going anywhere.
Well, like you play the best of your era. He played the best of his era.
Exactly.
Even now, I think some people would say it's not as good as it was before. Like LeBron is not going against the competition like Michael Jordan went up against. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, a lot of people were talking about too that comparison of Michael Jordan's era to if Michael was playing in this current era right now, the hand checking and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, Jordan would just be on a roll at the free throw line. He just getting guys fouled out.
Yeah.
Think about it. Because Jordan was so much more into the mid-range game. he was constantly right there on that in the perimeter shot. He was always so good. When he had the chance, he'd drive it in, dunk it. Obviously, we all know about his dunking abilities.
Right.
But it's a different game. And Commissioner, I wanted to talk about that too. You see game 1 of the finals. Yeah. The Mavs got the brakes beaten off of them. It was a murder in Boston. And I blame it's a new NBA because of the 3-point line. The 3-point line now is everybody's getting on it. The analytics are winning. Analytics are winning. It's not about how this player's specific skill set, which is we got Jokic, we got Doncic. These guys are pretty skillful. But now it's like if you can make a 3-pointer, it's like you're in. Yeah. You're in. And then all 5 of those guys on the Celtics can make a 3-pointer, and that's what they did. It's right. Like this. It was like the Golden State Warriors all over again. Making 3-pointers, getting hot, extending the lead.
Crazy.
The opponent cuts back into the lead, and you just extend it more because you shot another 3-pointer. It's ridiculous.
Like you see guys going for shots that you never would have seen before.
Right.
It's kind of shocking because they make them. You're like,
it's watering down the competition, in my opinion. I'm so used to, like I said, Shaq and Kobe. Back in that area, I know it's the early 2000s, but Shaq was just like dominating the paint. You had guys. Kobe was a mid-range guy. Every now and then, yes, he would knock down a 3 to obviously seal the win or what have you. But now it's like it's just pass the ball around, which I get. I like the passing of the ball. I like that. I don't like it when they hot dog and just one guy's getting his. No, I like the passes. I like the Hoosiers game where it's like 3 passes. Yeah. You throw the ball around. But now it's like, man, it's just like guys like creeping up on the corner. You got Horford in the corner, and he's already like in his 3-point motion. He gets the ball, and he's just like so quick with it, and he makes it.
How did they get so good? Yeah, how did they get so good at shooting from so far away?
I think that's all they do now. All they do is practice from 3.
Wow,
that's the way it looks like because nobody's playing defense either. That's the thing.
Is Curry responsible for this whole new game?
Yes. Yes. Because he's so undersized. That's why a lot of people really didn't want to get. He's okay. Curry's great. He's great. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer automatically. He's a champion already, as it is as well.
Yeah.
But they started this whole thing where it's like him, Thompson, even Draymond will drain a 3 now and then.
Yeah.
He had Andrew Bogut from every now and then, a 7-footer draining 3s. It's like.
That is crazy.
It's crazy. They were really the first starting lineup to everybody's gonna knock down a 3.
Back in the day, you never saw 7-footers shooting.
No,
not like that.
No. Well, the first 7-footer that really kind of started doing that was Dirk.
Nowitzki.
A 7-footer. He's just had that really weird wind up, but it was effective every time. Yeah. It's kind of like Doncic, like Jokic. He has that rainbow 3 every time. He'll run up the floor. He'll run down the floor and then just he pulls up and just shoots that rainbow 3 and it goes in every time.
Yeah. Back in the day, I felt like you had to drive it in and you had to, it was those jamming it in there.
Tougher competition. Yeah. It was a big man's game.
Part of it was a sort of psychological intimidation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you'd go in there and just slam them.
Yeah.
Like you posterize. You would posterize people.
Yeah, now every now and then, you'll get your posterizers, what have you, but it's a 3-point game now. My solution, if I was commissioner, I'd be like, okay, first 3 quarters, 3-point line doesn't exist. Yeah. So you have kind of like an even game where it's like everything's 2 points. Obviously, your free throws are 1 point each. And then you go into the fourth quarter. Okay, boom, we bring back the 3-point line for one quarter, for your final quarter to make it interesting. Like if it's like a 1-point game or a 2-point game and you need that 3 to kind of put you in front or to take the lead by 1, then that makes it interesting. Because I remember back in the day, like Ray Allen, like when they needed a 3 from somebody, Ray Allen was always the guy to shoot from 3, that corner 3. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't really that many guys who could shoot the 3-point just as effective as Ray Allen was. Now everybody's shooting the 3.
Yeah. The only guy who I can remember when I was a kid, like being a shooter like that, was kind of, I guess, Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller, yeah. Yeah.
Remember he had that crazy comeback?
Yeah.
He made I don't know how many threes in 2 seconds or whatever it was.
I mean, just himself. He carried the Pacers into the finals against the Lakers. Yeah. His only appearance, though, sadly.
Yeah. So many greats never really make it to the finals and get that ring.
So many greats, and they never won the ring. I've been watching on Vice this. I forget the title of the show. It's like this basketball stories or whatnot, and it's pretty good. I was watching about Pistol Pete Maravich.
Oh, that guy's badass.
Yeah, it was just watching how great he was, and just it's tragic how he was a basketball lifer, and then he kind of just got to a point where it's like it was a physical game back in the 80s, so he was an undersized guy, but he was just great. He was great with the ball, passing, shooting. The highest scorer, well, I mean, Caitlin Clark just passed that, the highest scorer in college basketball. So she passed it now, and he was playing back in the day when there was no 3-point line.
Yeah, I was going to say that. There was no 3-point line.
No 3-point line, And people were talking about how there was a couple. Well, going back to Jerry West, there's a couple of shots when Jerry West only won one final. So,
Are you there, Brian?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, laptop went out.
Oh, I thought it was my internet. Okay.
No. You're good. It's I'm on my phone now.
I'll edit that out. Don't worry.
I appreciate it. So as we were saying, it's back in the days where no 3-point line. So it was different competition of play.
Yeah. You want to switch gears to the Dodgers? The Dodgers coming into Yankee Stadium. Tell me that story. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, took 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, but they come back to LA and they kill the Texas Rangers on that first game and going to double-digit runs. But these last 2 games, I mean, the 2 games after that, they lost 3-2 in both games. And right now, I was watching the game, and Sal Perez, the catcher for the Royals, they're playing the Royals, Kansas City Royals, and Sal Perez just went off. His shot 3-run home run in the second inning. So as last time I checked, they were down 3-0. It's just I mean, they're in that slump, but I think I'm pretty good with that right now. They hit the slump right now, then towards the end of the year, and they're eventually going to be going into the All-Star break soon and going into next month. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not getting too high on it because it's still regular season. They're going to win the West. I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody's panicking at this moment.
But what's the story with the Dodger fans going to Yankee Stadium? Was they mass?
It's just, I mean, the Dodgers, obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those fans were from LA and made the trip out there. I mean, Yankee Stadium, even I'd like to go someday. It's historic.
Yeah.
And it's the new Yankee Stadium, mind you. So, but I mean, just to even go to a stadium like that, I would love to just go and get a tour and just take it all in as a fan of the game. But it's the Dodgers. They got to do it this year. Got to do it this year. I mean, little by little, the window's closing.
I wonder if there's a lot of fans in New York. A lot of Dodger fans, like maybe because they came from New York. There were the Brooklyn Dodgers. I wonder if there's still a fan base there.
Maybe. Could be a possibility. Yeah. Even though I think I don't know.
That was a long time ago.
I don't know if the minor league team's still there. The Brooklyn Cyclones. They still got a minor league team there. I'm not sure if they're still there, but that was their minor league team for a while. The thing with the Dodgers is just, I mean, they're global, just kind of like the Lakers. I mean, sadly, the Lakers right now, it's a zoo. It's terrible. It's who knows what's going on, but the Dodgers are a global brand, just like, I mean, you want to say the Dallas Cowboys in football, I guess.
Who's in better shape? Who's in better shape right now, the Lakers or the Dodgers?
The Dodgers. The Dodgers. Yeah, they're the Dodgers, and then the Rams, and then the Chargers.
What about the Kings?
Even USC. Well, the Kings have been making the playoffs consecutive years, but they haven't won a Stanley Cup recently. So the Kings are always going to be in pretty good shape. But
it's just that it's not popular enough here in LA hockey.
Give
them what they deserve.
Yeah, it's very tribal. Like, hockey's very tribal. Like it has like a certain amount of people who are kind of like they have like their hardcore followers. And with baseball and football and basketball, you kind of have those fair weather fans where it's like, well, they show up when they're winning, they don't show up when they're not. But the one thing for sure is that the Dodgers, they always draw a crowd.
Yeah,
they always.
I was in San Jose once, and they represent the Sharks. Like people have their posters on the wall, like on the windows. They got the Shark stuff on the windows. They got it on their cars. They got it everywhere.
It's the only professional team in town. That's why they don't have basketball. A while back, the Oakland A's trying to move into San Jose, and people in San Francisco weren't too happy. The Giants organization didn't want to let them move. They vetoed it. So that's and now right now, I mean, look at the A's. They're playing in Sacramento for the time being.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. I mean, it's the thing with the San Francisco is they're right next to each other, San Jose and San Francisco.
Right.
But I mean, San Jose is a way smaller city than San Francisco.
Yeah. Man, so the Oakland A's are going to be in Vegas soon?
Well, it's still up in the air. It's still politics, like we talked about last podcast. It's still, I don't think the people in Vegas I really want them, to be honest. I think they kind of think that, well, we got an NFL team and we got an NHL team. They even got a WNBA team, and the WNBA is little by little is picking up traction, but I just get the feeling that they always kind of want their own team. They want something that's theirs. They want an expansion team. And the MLB has been talking about expansion. And I think Las Vegas never really expected, we're going to get a team that has already existed. And it's one of the old teams, too, mind you. I mean, the A's were not always in Oakland. They came from Philadelphia. They were the Philadelphia A's back in the day. And they moved over here to Oakland, And so it's interesting because it's all politics now. And the owner, this guy's a billionaire, what have you, and he wanted tax money from the city of Oakland. But I mean, honestly, Oakland has bigger issues than funding a baseball team. And it's kind of sad too, because when the A's are relevant, and when they had like the Giambi years, they had the Miguel Tejada years. Like they had like some pretty good teams, and this was like prior to Moneyball. They had some like really nice players coming up that came up, and they always ran against that brick wall that was New York Yankees in the postseason.
Yeah.
So there was just it's kind of like the dilemma now with the Kansas City Chiefs and the AFC. Nobody can take out the Chiefs. Mahomes is too good, Kelsey's too good, Andy Reid's too good. It's one of those things.
Yeah, they pop up every once in a while in sports.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Patriots. Now the Patriots are cellar dwellers. They're terrible. They're in total rebuild mode.
Yeah, if you were like the Miami Dolphins, like it was just gonna be hard times.
And that's funny how you bring that up, Kamish, because Trevor Lawrence got paid today.
Really?
Yeah, he got paid. Yeah,
the Jaguars.
I'm not sure about the exact figure, but it's in the high 200 millions.
He's still with the Jaguars?
Still with the Jaguars. This is going to be his 4th year.
That's great. I mean, the quarterback position, when you come out of college, it's horrible because you're severely underpaid. But that's how teams are able to maybe make a run at a championship, because you just get this guy at a deal and you're able to get pieces around him.
On the rookie contract, Yeah. And now, so since he got paid, there was people talking about how, since he got paid, he hasn't even made it out of the first round. He hasn't made it out into a championship game, into a AFC championship game. You look at Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy's made it to the NFC championship, and he's made it to the Super Bowl.
That's a good point.
They're saying Brock Purdy's going to be the next one to get paid. But people were saying, well, you're comparing apples and oranges, because Brock Purdy has Hall of Famers like McCaffrey. He has Deebo Samuel. He had a good sophomore wide receiver in Ayuk, and I mean obviously Kittle, and a great defense, great offensive line. And it's different because obviously Lawrence has less of that. You can't compete with the talent that he has.
Yeah. So if you were the GM and owner of the Jaguars, you would open up the piggy bank for Trevor Lawrence?
You have to, because right now it's really difficult. The quarterback market, it's not like you can like go out there and sign the other team's guy now. It's like all these other teams are drafting in the top now because they're looking for their guy. And there's still a lot of unknowns, really. I mean, is CJ Stroud going to be as good as his first year? The whole thing with Tua too, and is he like what's he going to look like? And then you got, I mean, Purdy's still kind of a question mark, and then Stafford's going through contract negotiations himself, and you got Dak who wants to get paid. So it's like all these guys want to get paid, and once something like this happens, it's meteor. It's pretty. It's what's the word? I'm looking for the word. I just can't. I don't want to do a word salad here. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Just to put it plain and simple, it's a big deal because these guys are saying, okay, well, he got this much, and I know I'm better than this guy. So it's all a it's always a competition.
Like I think Tom Brady was never the highest paid quarterback,
and so is Mahomes. Mahomes is still not the highest paid quarterback either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that is pretty crazy. The greatest quarterback in NFL history was never, during his playing career, was probably never the highest paid.
No, he was never the highest paid. And I mean, obviously a lot of people joked about how Giselle made more money than him. So that's kind of how he was able to survive, I guess. I mean, rich people problems, must be nice. And you're still making a couple millions of dollars, but it's, it's still not enough. But it's just, I mean, I guess inflation is hitting the NFL too. Yeah. Who would have thought?
But you know what? Quarterback's one of those positions where, I mean, props to anybody who makes it on the roster as a quarterback. They're all studs, but there's a big drop off from the elite to like the rest. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's you're right on target, Commish. Right on target, and that's why it's so interesting to see who's getting paid and who's not. Yeah. So that's what's. I mean, just by Lauren getting paid today, getting a max contract, it's interesting to see how the rest of the NFL, obviously, who's going to be next? Is it going to be Dak? Are the Rams going to give in to what Stafford wants? It's interesting to see what's going to happen, and then not only this year, but even going into next year. I mean, next year, whoever's numbers up, and I'm pretty sure I think it's Purdy. That's why Purdy was in the conversation today. How if you're going to pay Lawrence this, and what's Purdy worth?
Right. So his contract is going to be up soon.
His contract, I think it should be up next year. If I'm not mistaken.
Man. So what are the guys that are coming up out of college now? You're looking at Caleb?
Obviously Caleb, and I'm looking at the quarterback that watched Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner as well. Those are the two guys that I'm really like trying to see. If we're talking about fantasy football wise, I want to see where they're gonna get drafted. And if we're talking about just regular football wise, I want to see how they compete because they're both coming into organizations who are been underachieving, obviously, for many years. And they're both going to be playing some tough divisions because you got Caleb in the North, and FC North, and then you got Jaden Daniels in the NFC East. And both of them, I mean, everybody in the NFC North has gotten better with the inclusion of Jordan Love. I mean, Jordan Love is like, he was practically a rookie last year when you think about it. So, and he impressed. And now you got the whole thing in the East. It's the Cowboys are always kind of going to be there. I mean, Dak is he's still a decent quarterback. I mean, you got the whole thing with Hurts. It's tough. They're going into they're getting welcomed to the NFL, but it's going to be tough competition within their own division.
Man, what are the other big names that are coming in out of this draft?
Well, quarterback-wise, those are the two big guys. Obviously, I mean, Penix got drafted by Atlanta, but it's Kirk Cousins' team. I mean, for the time being, we wouldn't know anything unless he gets injured in the training camp or off season or or during preseason. I mean, I don't think he's even going to play a preseason snap. I mean, they're paying him too much money.
Wow.
And Penix was a guy who I thought would have landed later on in the first round. He went by pretty fast. Atlanta snatched him up, and it's been the kind of big question mark. It's like, well, are they getting ready for the future? What do they see with Cousins that we don't see? So it's very interesting to see what happens. I mean, obviously the new coaching staff, and let me think about another quarterback. I mean, well, you got we were talking about the competition in Denver. I remember I talked about last week.
Yeah,
the quarterback that they drafted, Bo Nix out of Oregon. So they drafted Bo Nix, but they're saying that he's kind of still of a project. But I mean, obviously he's a guy who Sean Payton drafted. But it's interesting that they're saying that Zach Wilson is actually outperforming them. So
wow,
that was kind of like later like an eye opener right there. I was like, Zach Wilson, really? That's interesting. A guy who just the Broncos got him for free, and I think the Jets were still paying some of his contract. A la the Lakers still paying Darvin Ham's contract. He's assistant with the Bucks now. But going back to the NFL.
I think the Mets are still paying Bobby Bonilla or whatever.
Yeah, the Mets is Bobby Bonilla Day. That's right. Yeah, he's going up to the mailbox every first of the month, and he's got $1 million check waiting for him, which is beautiful. You gotta love it. That's the gift that keeps on giving, right there.
Oh yeah, whoever his manager is, that he probably got the best manager ever.
He should go 50-50 with his agent, because his agent, like, it's just like robbing a bank without a gun. It's like, go in there, asking for $1 million, and they're gonna give it to you. Are you sure? Is this legal?
Yeah,
it's unreal. Yeah, only in America.
Only in America.
Oh my God.
Let's switch gears a little bit. I mean, what kind of podcast would it be if we didn't talk about Caitlin Clark?
Yeah.
She got snubbed from the Olympic team.
So she got snubbed from the Olympic teim. It's just
I looked up that girl you guys were talking about yesterday. Yeah, she's pretty hot.
She's beautiful. She's just like, I don't know how tall she is, but she's tall.
Yeah,
she's very tall, but she's gorgeous.
And I forgot her name, but she's on the Olympic team, right? She made the. I think that podcast you said she got into the.
Yeah,
Olympic
she got into the 3-on-3. I don't know if it's. I think it's like a different, obviously 3-on-3 basketball. So it's like not like on the main team, but she still made some type of Olympic roster, I guess you can say.
You know, it's interesting because one of the criticism is that, Caitlin Clark is getting all this attention because, she's a white female, she's an attractive female. But this other girl that you guys mentioned apparently is really good, and she's more attractive.
And she's playing really well. Yes.
Yeah.
She's playing really well for the Sparks too, mind you. So yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is.
It's definitely a bias, but you know what? Like I said, I mean, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise for Caitlin, because she's going through so much right now because. Yeah. She comes off of college. She lost in the national championship game. She only gets like a week's rest, if anything, and then just right back into it again. She's like, the NBA guys, they get drafted and they get a couple months off. So,
Brian, I forgot who made this comparison. I think it may have been Stephen A. But I really liked it. So let's talk about, see if we can compare Caitlin Clark and, oh man, I had it a second ago. I just skipped my mind. The guy from Duke. Who went? Christian Laettner.
Christian Laettner. Yeah, Christian Laettner. Yeah. So they were saying that the comparison, you know what? I guess you can go males and females, and that's your answer right there.
Right.
I mean, it's like I said, it's just a total bias of. Yeah, it's like if she was a male and she was obviously like something that we never seen before in basketball, then of course she right away all the way. But it's
Laettner was on that Olympic team.
Sport, and there's feelings involved.
Yeah.
And I like how today there was this, I don't know if it was this morning or if it was yesterday, but somebody from The Athletic like pretty much asked her like, do you feel that there's like rate? I don't know the question was. So I'm gonna kind of summarize like what I understood from the question, or like what the topic was. But so he was kind of asking her like, oh, like, do you feel like there's like racial tensions because you're a white girl and you're in a black NBA league, WNBA league, you know, black driven sport? And she pretty much said like, hey, like, I'm not here to like I said, I'm not quoting her, but she said along the lines where it's like, I'm not here to push anybody's agendas. And she just totally like, man, total pro, like that's a win for her. She just keeps winning. And you know what? It's like, you're going to keep her off the Olympic roster. You're going to keep her down in the WNBA, and they might not even make the playoffs. So what? I mean, she's a rookie. Jordan didn't win a title in his first couple of years in the NBA either.
Oh, that team was awful.
I'm not comparing her to Jordan. That's pretty bold right there. But it's like, I'm just saying for the fact that like Jordan was that spark plug that made the NBA go in the 90s. She's doing that now for the WNBA. That's pretty much what it is, really.
Yeah, she's bringing the eyeballs.
She's bringing the eyeballs. She's creating that spark.
And I mean, we would never talk about the WNBA.
Like I can't say enough because it's like, it's funny because there's certain networks, and I'm gonna say it out there, woke ESPN, certain networks are gonna push the agenda, and they keep pushing it, and they keep pushing it, and like eventually we're all, I think more than anything because it's election year, so we're like already divided as it is.
Yeah,
these media networks are just, especially woke ESPN, they're just gonna keep dividing us. And it's like, dude, like you're doing it with sports. That's where like I draw a line. It's like, okay, like I'm not watching Fox News, I'm not watching CNN, I'm not watching MSNBC, I'm watching ESPN. I want to know the score, I want to see the highlights.
Yeah.
The Sports Center that I used to watch growing up, or I recently actually met Michael Wilbon, and he was just a total class act, just
really?
a total scholar and a gentleman.
Where did you meet him?
I met him at the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh.
This was earlier this year. Me and Jaime were out there at a concert at the Peacock Theater, right there by Crypto, and Jaime's brilliant ideas. He's a man of town, out in town all the time, and we ended up at the Ritz-Carlton. It was like midnight, and there was like all these like really rich and beautiful people there, and there was Michael Wilbon. It was just like, no way. Because obviously, I mean, yes, ESPN LA's.
You recognize them?
Studio right there.
Were you the only one who recognized them?
Yeah, right away.
But nobody else recognized them?
I think a lot of people recognized them, but I think I was the one that was starstruck.
Oh, okay.
Because I grew up watching him and Tony Kornheiser on Pardon the Interruption.
And so what happened? You went up to him?
Dude, I straight up went up to him and I said, pardon the interruption, but are you... I hit him with it. I'm like, pardon the interruption, because he was talking to two young ladies. So, I was like, man, dude, like, this is my chance to, like, go up and, like, meet somebody who, like, was kind of like an inspiration as in the way, I mean, like I said, the podcast is something small and, where we're just happy to talk and see what happens. But he's somebody like, man, I grew up watching and I aspire to be something like that, where it's like, man, like, if I had my chance, I would love to be this guy.
Yeah.
And granted, he was like a columnist for like for the Washington. I think it was the Post, if I'm not mistaken. And he worked his way up, and he was just wow. Like, so I hit him with the pardon the interruption. I just went up to him and I said, "Oh, are you Michael Wilbon?" I was all starstruck, and I am. And he kind of cracked a joke, and then Jaime's like, "Hey, how about a picture?" And he's like, "Yeah, And we took a picture, and he was just the nicest guy, like person on TV that if I met. It's just like, wow, like he's generally a really good person, just a scholar and a gentleman.
You probably helped him out. He's out there trying to pick up chicks, and he gets recognized. That's gotta help.
Yeah, it had to help or something. Yeah, but he was just like so modest and just so cool. It was just like, wow, like. Because I don't know if I've told you the story. I met Jack Black when I was working at Amazon.
Jack, the actor?
The actor. Oh. And he's a total douche.
Really?
Total douche. Yeah. Wow. He lives out there like in the Hollywood Hills. So I was delivering a package, and I looked. I was trying to like get in through the gate. It was like a house with a long driveway, and they had a gate, obviously. And ringing the doorbell, I was like, well, man, I don't know if I should leave the package, trying to do the right thing. All of a sudden, this Range Rover, like, all, like, tinted out, pulls up. and he lowers his window, and I was like, holy moly! I was like, you're Jack Black. And then I gave him the package, and he's like, thank you. And he like rolled up his window and like went in his driveway. He's just like a total dude, you know? I was like, wow, dude, really? Like, okay, man. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That does sound like a Jack Black response.
He was just, but the way he was about it, like, I mean,
funny.
I'll give him credit. He said thank you, but he was just like so like arrogant.
Oh, it wasn't like funny. It
wasn't funny at all. Like, I was just like, you know, like, hey, yeah, man, what's up? Like, no, I was just like, thank you, and like total arrogant. Rolled up his window and just like, and I get it, you know, it was like late. He was with his kids. I think I don't know if he was with his wife or girlfriend or whatever, but he had his kids in the car. His kids were like a little bit older than my daughter. My daughter's 7. But it's like still, it's just like he could have been like, yeah, man, hey, you know, like thanks, man. Like I don't know. I just feel like it's like you're. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, it sounds tough. Sounds tough. You're driving with your kids, but at the same time,
like I don't
fans.
know. Yeah, and I was a fan of his too. Like I really like his movies. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now I'm like I look at him different. I'm like, man, like you're not even that funny. So yeah, like no love lost. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I like the Nacho Libre movie. That's about it.
Yeah, I like School of Rock, and I like that. What was it that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow, Shallow Hal?
Oh, Shallow Hal. I never saw that one. That was good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah. I hate to admit, yeah. Now that I met him, but yeah, it was actually pretty. Well, I mean, this was even prior to me meeting him because the movie's so old now. But yeah.
So, any other sports story on your radar, Brian? Pretty big.
Sports story, just like I said, I mean, right now I'm interested to see what the Lakers do because it's once the finals are over, it's open season, I think, and I think that like obviously, I think the Celtics are going to do the gentleman sweep. They're going to take them out 4-1. They're going to be swimming in the Boston Harbor, and I think Kyrie Irving's going to be out of Dallas. That's my hunch.
Oh, Kyrie was in Boston at one point, right?
He was in Boston at one point, yeah. And that's when he went. That's before that. That's before he joined up with Durant, with the Nets, and that was a disaster. Yeah.
Really?
They're terrible. And then the whole COVID thing happened, and he didn't want to get the vaccine, and he couldn't play a lot of the home games because New York has like really strict COVID regulations. So
I think like that's around the time I kind of stopped watching basketball.
Exactly. It's like 2020. Yeah, it's just like a lot of people. I mean, basketball has had a lot of falling out. I think basketball in general, NBA has picked up a lot of steam, especially now. Like we lost Bill Walton and Jerry West back to back.
Yeah,
and it's like a lot of people who are really old school. I think in my opinion, a lot of people who, like you said, like who lost interest in the game are like they're starting to pick up interest again in the game.
Yeah.
And a lot of us fans who like really don't like the direction that the NBA was going to begin with, we love seeing LeBron going down. Like I don't want to see that guy succeed. Yeah. And nothing against his kid. I think his kid's gonna be a great player. He's not gonna be LeBron's level. Yeah. And I don't wish anything bad on the kid, but it's like for the Lakers to give up, if anything, their first round pick, I think it was the 17th pick, if I'm not mistaken. If they give up that pick to get his son, that's when you know who's pulling the strings in the organization. It's been LeBron all along.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did not love the LeBron era, even though I was a fan of LeBron when he was in Cleveland.
I was too. I was too. Yeah.
And Kyrie, that's where I saw Kyrie in Cleveland. Right. It was interesting to watch him play there, where he didn't seem to like be intimidated that he was like playing with LeBron. Like he felt like he was just as good as LeBron.
Correct.
And would step out and take his little moment. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Man. I mean, he had his setbacks. He's still a great ball. I mean, we're talking about Kyrie. Like, right. I mean, just like some of the stuff he's done like throughout the playoffs this year, it's just like, wow, that's old Kyrie.
Well, you know, the way now that I see him, he looks physically different to me.
He does. Yeah, he does. I agree. Yeah, I couldn't.
He doesn't look as big before, as kind of muscular, as athletic. Right. He looks more frail, more smaller.
He looks more frail. Yeah.
Is that just him getting older?
Yeah, your body changes. I mean, I suppose that's just a product of him getting older, more than likely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you know if basketball players like take steroids or they're like doing performance enhance and stuff?
Well, wasn't if correct me if I'm wrong, it was a UFC fighter who called out LeBron last year. I think it was Chael Sonnen, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
He said he's like, oh well, like I took steroids and LeBron would go to the same guy that I was seeing, so it's like it kind of like it was. I mean, LeBron's always been a big guy coming out of high school. He was always like ginormous. That's why he was like so good when he first came into the NBA because he wasn't frail. He wasn't tossed around.
Right.
He was I mean posterizing people.
Yeah.
But man, like throughout the years, like especially his Laker years, he's gotten bigger, in my opinion. Wow. Like he's just huge. Like there's no stopping LeBron when LeBron's on a full heater going down the court.
Yeah,
there's no stopping him. Like he'll break you in half.
It's like they don't test, huh?
Full strength. So, that's a good question, Kamish. That's a good question. Yeah. Unless they do test and they kind of turn a blind eye because that is LeBron is still his star is still he's still a high star. Come on.
Yeah, in the UFC that was a big deal. They would take a lot of steroids. Those guys took tons of steroids. Yeah. And they put in testing and it started messing with their cards. Where like guys were popping and then like they couldn't make the card and then like, maybe this isn't working out so well for us. And I think they got rid of most of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. That's the thing with the UFC though, Kamish. Like I never really could get into it because it's like you have so many guys where it's like a rotation of guys. It's like, well, this guy's the big name. Obviously, McGregor's known worldwide.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, like even Ken Shamrock for a while. The only reason I knew who Ken Shamrock was because he wrestled in the WWF.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, and then all these other guys, it's like, you got the Cowboy and you got this other guy, and it's just like, and now what happened with the Cowboy? Where's the Cowboy at? And
yeah,
no, you can't anymore. So yeah,
no, that window for the UFC fighters is much smaller. It's much smaller than like any other sport, I would guess. Maybe actually, I take it back. Maybe running back is a little
okay.
shorter.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So imagine that those guys are running backs. Right. And that's kind of how long their prime is going to be and how long they're going to last. So.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, you're teaching me something new right there because you're more the combat sports type of guy. You're a sensei. You know what's going down with that. I mean, that's something that you're really big into.
Yeah, that's what I follow more than like the regular sports than like stick and ball sports like basketball.
Yeah.
Football. I mean, I love them. To be honest with you, I love the playoffs. I love the finals. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what gets my attention when it's got like something on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why we talked about. I mean, would you watch the Dodgers? And you know what, Kamish? Yeah. I have not watched as many Dodgers as I have in past years. Yeah. And I've been more honestly now. I've been more of a student of just learning more and more about. I mean, my three main sports: basketball, football, baseball. And just learning more about the history and just learning more about what's going on the day-to-day basis, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in that because it's like at the end of the day, it's. I mean, my Clippers got knocked out. My Rams got knocked out last year again by Detroit. I mean, I didn't expect the Rams to be that good, but they were really good. Right. I think they're going to be better this year. And this year, it's like, okay, now I got expectations because football's different. Football is 18 weeks.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it's not like 162 games versus regular season. Like you play all these games and then what? Like you get knocked down the first round. And baseball's so streaky where it's like you have a team like the Diamondbacks who like barely even got in and they knock out the top seeded Dodgers. It's crazy, man.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then like just because there is so many fewer games in football, each game feels big.
It feels big. It feels like a playoff game every Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. Basketball, what is it? 90 games?
No, it's 62.
62. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know what? Before they took it away here in California, they used to allow you to bet. Like you could go online and put bets on stuff, and that's kind of when I was the biggest into sports. I was able to do that.
Yeah.
And at some point they like canceled my account and sent back my money, and they're like, well, we can't operate in California anymore. And there was like a proposition here maybe a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago. I mean, I know that they try to do like the whole gambling where it's like you can bet on the sports book, but
right.
You can still do fantasy from what I mean, obviously the only fantasy I do is football. I just can't dabble with the baseball and the basketball because it's like too much going on, and you got to really like do your homework. It's like, okay, this guy's like really hot this day, and in football, it's like, man, dude, okay, like you have like the whole week to pretty much like break it down.
Yeah.
Once the game's over, it's like, okay, I could break it down. I can see what's going on, and then like weather takes effect into it too because they play in all types of weather.
Oh, yeah.
So it's different. You like think about the elements a little bit more. Baseball, it's like, well, it starts raining, and it's just like, okay, they put out the tarp, and then there's a rain delay, and then baseball's so streaky too because like look at the Dodgers. I mean, they're hitting their skid right now. Like I said, it's like.
Yeah,
they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, which is like very impressive. I honestly was like really impressed because the Yankees are really good this year as well.
Yeah.
So, granted, they come back and they play the Rangers. Or Rangers are not the same. Well, they're most of the roster is the same as last year of the World Series winning team. But I mean, you got the return of Seager. Seager came back. He played really well against the Dodgers, and. It's just funny. They're just seeing that skid. I mean, Ohtani's been he's been decent, but like I said, I mean, just everybody's just it's. I think they're like trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out like, whoa, who's gonna get hot this time? It's baseball's so streaky.
Yeah,
it's so
I like
streaky.
going to a game maybe around this time, but usually around September is when I start to tune in more.
Yeah, like I usually like. If I go to a game, if I haven't been to a game all season long, I go to at least an NLDS game, like the division series, and just be like, okay, like get the feel. It's like, okay, because I've been to so many NLDS games for the Dodgers that I already know. It's like, man, this is the year they're going to win. This is the year they're going to get choked. And last year, once they like couldn't get past the Diamondbacks, I was like, man, like, forget it. Like you already knew it. Like the writing was on the wall. It's just like, dude, it's right there. It's like you're not gonna win anything this year. And the year before that against the Padres, that was just like disappointing. Yeah.
All right, Brian, we're about to hit that 1 hour mark.
Let's do it.
Start wrapping it up and put a bow on it. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Congrats to all the grads out there. Class of 2024.
Wow, that's wild.
It's wild, right? I mean, it's just flying by. But I mean,
that's great.
Hey, congratulations on your diploma or on your bachelor's, master's, doctor, what have you.
Yeah.
But I mean, unless you come out of that, and in life you make mistakes, that's when you really learn something about life. You learn just not ABCs 1, 2, 3s. You learn the hard knocks of life.
The real education.
And I'm not here. Yeah, you're here. You're getting the real world education.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to be your idol. I mean, that's what they call us, villains.
With that, we'll end right there. That's the closer. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Kamish.
Thank you.